Hello, everyone. My name is Andre Monka, and today I'll be talking about the changing demographics of tourism and their economic impact on the Bahamas. Tourism is the heartbeat of our economy. It drives jobs, revenue, and opportunity across the islands. In this presentation, I will highlight the shift in visitor demographics, trends in visitor types and spending. I will also look at how this shift affects the economy and what it means for our country moving forward. Tourism remains the backbone of the Bahamian economy. During the pandemic, we saw arrivals decline by about 75% in 2020, primarily due to COVID. But tourism proved its resilience in the Bahamas. Total arrivals reached about 11.2 million by 2024, actually exceeding pre pandemic numbers. This rebound shows how vital tourism is, but it naturally raises questions about where the growth is coming from and who is driving it. Before getting into the numbers, here's how I approach my research. I started by looking at the visitor demographics after COVID. Basically, who's coming back and where are they coming from. Then I focused on the economic outcomes and how the changes in visitor types influence revenue. I used data from reliable sources like the Central Bank of the Bahamas and the Ministry of Tourism. And finally, I analyzed the trends between air and cruise visitors to see how each visitor type contributes differently to our economy. So, how do the numbers add up? Let's break it down. My analysis of visitor demographics reveals significant changes. From 2019 to 2024, air arrivals increased slightly to 1.8 million visitors, a 3.6% rise, while cruise arrivals jumped to 9.3 million, a 72% increase. That tells us that cruise tourism is booming in numbers. However, air travel continues to be the real economic engine because those visitors stay longer and those visitors spend more. It's a reminder that growth in headcount doesn't automatically mean growth in income, and it's much more significant than it initially sounds. Here's what really stands out. Air visitors spend on average $2,642 per person, while cruise visitors spend only $71 on average. That means that one air traveler equals the spending power of about 37 cruise passengers. So even though cruises bring more money and bring millions of more people, the money they leave behind is very disproportionate. In 2024, total spending for air visitors was about 4.93 billion compared to roughly 664 million from cruise passengers. This really highlights why the Bahamas must look beyond just visitor count and focus on the economic value each traveler brings. So let's look at how it plays out on the islands. New Providence shows steady growth is expected from 4.1 to 5.2 million visitors, about a 24.5% growth. Attracting both air and cruise travelers, New Providence remains the heart of the economy, which, like I mentioned earlier, is pretty much expected. The Family Island tells a different story, recently exploding in popularity, more than doubling from 2.5 to 5.4 million visitors, a 114% jump. This is largely due to new cruise routes and the promotion of more authentic Bahamian experiences. Then, lastly, we have Grand Bahama, which is our second city. And Grand Bahama is still struggling, however. Its visitors slipped slightly from 525,000 to 519,000, dropping about 1%. This shows ongoing challenges for the island, with air access and possibly hurricane recovery. However, overall, tourism is spreading out more geographically, but it's obvious to see that spending remains uneven. So, how can we turn these numbers into real economic value? First, we should encourage longer stays from cruise visitors. Getting ships to dock longer or even dock overnight and offering more extended experiences like excursions can increase visitor spending. We can also expand air travel and invest in upscale accommodations, especially on the Family Island, in order for us to attract higher value guests. And lastly, we can track spending patterns using surveys and other technology to receive data for the government and businesses so that they can invest where it counts the most. These steps overall can help balance visitor volume with real economic gain. The big takeaway is this: the recovery of the tourism industry in the Bahamas shows a clear trend. Increased visitor numbers don't always directly correlate to increased revenue. The Bahamas needs to focus on targeting high value visitors and creating experiences to keep tourism sustainable. By boosting air travel, increasing cruise passenger spending, and improving tourist data collection, we can ensure that the benefits of tourism reach every island and every Bahamian. Because our goal isn't just to have record number arrivals, but it's also to build a strong, bolstered, and also inclusive economy that keeps our culture alive while also ensuring long-term growth. Quality over quantity is the only thing that will get us there. Because when we focus on the value of each visitor, we're not just focusing on tourism, we're also focusing on growth, opportunity, and sustainability. Thank you.